Psychology and Film by Ned Haynes and Bianca Martinez.
Description: We did the movie A Beautiful Mind starring John Nash. Nash was a brilliant mathematician who was socially inept, extremely analytic, and distant. He was a graduate student at Princeton University who was driven by the overwhelming stress to create a revolutionary equation in mathematics. After publishing an equation on game theory, he is named one of the most promising scientists of his time and consequently becomes a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The government called on Nash to solve a bomb problem posed by the Russians. Diagnosis: Nash was diagnosed with schizophrenia by Dr. Rosen. He first believes Dr. Rosen to be in cahoots with the Russians. This delusion is one of the main reasons he is diagnosed. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder involving a breakdown in the relation between thought, emotion, and behavior. The DSM-5 characterizes schizophrenics as having two or more of the following symptoms: delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, grossly disorganized or catatonic behavior, and negative symptoms such as diminished emotional expression. The film was set in the 1950s, a time when the atom bomb was prevalent. Another characteristic of this time were the outdated treatments of mental patients as well as the prison-like insane asylums. Because of the cultural context, schizophrenia had mostly negative stigmas, though still diagnosed. I personally don't think schizophrenia is diagnosed in all cultures because of the stigmas schizophrenia holds. I believe it would be more uncommon in stricter religions because the illness could be characterized or portrayed as ungodly. The stigmas include the idea that schizophrenics are mentally unstable individuals with completely split personalities. Another is violence, and that schizophrenics only hear violent voices that tell them to do bad things. Evidence: Nash experiences vivid hallucinations including Charles Herman, his roommate at Princeton, Marcy, his roommate's orphan niece, and William Parcher, a government agent. The first half of the movie is based on experiences with them. A few examples are when John and Charles throw John's desk out the window. Another hallucination was the instance in which John sees Charles at the psychiatric hospital and screams at him for revealing his secret. His second most obvious symptoms are his delusions, one of the most obvious being his belief that he is working for the government through William Parcher. He was involved in a high-speed chase with the Russians in which Parcher kills the drivers of the other car. He even thought he was injected with an iode that would dissolve over time. He asks Charles if he should propose to Alicia. He has full conversations with Marcy. He sees patterns in basically everything, and these are only a few of his delusions. The missing symptom, however, is his clang or word salad. When John chooses to talk, he's articulate, concise, and straight to the point.
Treatment. In the movie's time period, insulin coma and electroshock therapies were common treatment for schizophrenia patients, which suppressed a person's brain activity resulting in convulsions by injecting large doses of insulin to produce daily comas, a couple of days out of the week over several weeks, which is a treatment that Nash had received in his hospital stay. But due to the long-term effects such as decreased blood glucose, perspiration, drowsiness, and restlessness, this treatment is no longer used in treating schizophrenia patients. Though there is no cure for schizophrenia, medication can reduce symptoms and greatly reduce future worsening of symptoms. A variety of antipsychotic medications are effective in reducing the psychotic symptoms present in the acute phase of the illness, and they also help to reduce potential for future acute episodes. Diagnosis and treatment can be complicated by substance misuse. People with schizophrenia are at greater risk of misusing drugs than the general population. If a person shows signs of addiction, treatment for the addiction should also occur with the treatment for schizophrenia. After the symptoms of schizophrenia are controlled, various types of therapy can continue to help manage the illness and improve their lives. Therapy and support reduce symptoms can help people learn social skills and cope with stress. For many people living with schizophrenia, family support is very important to their health and well-being, and some family members may deny that their loved one has a disorder, and many may deny them treatment. Or in some cultures, schizophrenia is written off as the person being crazy instead of getting them the help that they need to cope with the disorder. Broader perspective. The movie accurately portrayed the disorder because it took us into the mind of Nash and how he perceived the world, and how his experiences felt real to him, it felt real to the audience. As any person with schizophrenia having trouble distinguishing between real and unreal experiences. For example, how the audience admired Charles due to the fact that he and Nash was able to confide in him as such a close friend despite his lack of social mannerisms. The portrayal of the disorder positively changes people's opinion on disorder because it depicts a mathematician with schizophrenia with the early onsets. The movie barely contradicts society's perception of people with this disorder as mentally insane or extremely violent, as Nash is a well-educated individual who did not sporadically burst into aggressive states. It has also done a great job of including the negative aspects of schizophrenia, such as the side effects to the medicine, such as loss of emotion.